Welcome to On the Move, a business record effort that aims to help you hear directly from new leaders who are shaping Iowa's business community. I'm your host, Chris Conetzkey, president and group publisher of the Business Record. We've got a fantastic leader with us here today, Eric Dreibelbeis, who was recently promoted to chief medical officer of On With Life, a neurorehabilitation program that has campuses in Ankeny, Polk City, Coralville, and Des Moines. Eric is an Iowan by nature, but he's moving back after spending many years in Alaska. So welcome back, Eric.
Thank you, Chris. Happy to be here.
So for those that don't know, tell us a little bit about On With Life.
Yeah, On With Life is a neurorehabilitation center, primarily based out of Ankeny. It was originally created by a group of families, a group of Iowans who had an interest in traumatic brain injury, mostly due to loved ones who had suffered from traumatic brain injury, and they got together to create a place where kind of cutting edge TBI therapies could be used for both their families and for all Iowans and people outside of Iowa as well. It's grown significantly since then. We have multiple campuses, as you noted. We have both what we call our inpatient facility, which is a skilled nursing facility in Ankeny, where we serve primarily patients with traumatic brain injury, spinal cord injury, and stroke. And then we also have a more long-term care facility in Polk City, as well as some outpatient offerings in Ankeny and Coralville. We really try to focus on individuals with those main diagnoses, but anyone with neurorehabilitation care is who we focus on. So we do see a fair amount of Parkinson's and other neurodegenerative diseases as well.
So your position is a new position, so I understand that's part of a strategic direction for the organization. You want to talk just a little bit about why your position, and then we'll talk more about you.
Yeah, so as I was moving into Des Moines, I was lucky enough to get introduced to On With Life, and they offered me the new role as Chief Medical Officer, which is something that the organization did not have before. On With Life is really, it was built by those original families and was really built around therapies. So it was therapists that built the organization with kind of a light touch from physicians and providers throughout its history. There's been some great physicians that have worked there through the years, but as On With Life has expanded and offered more things, both in different locations as well as more broad neurorehabilitative services as well. The organization felt that they needed more of a direction from the medical team. And so we have a group of physicians as well as advanced practice individuals as well that are kind of helping the therapists out, if you will, and adding that medical layer to the organization.
For those that aren't in the medical industry, myself included, a chief medical officer, just broadly, what's the role there to achieve?
Yeah, so the chief medical officer is more of an administrative title. I also do have some clinical duties as well, but the chief medical officer title, it really helps find direction for the providers that work at the organization. So trying to plan for what are our persons served at our organization going to need today, a year from now, 5 years from now. How am I going to make sure that I have the appropriate physicians, nurse practitioners, PAs that I need to be successful in that? What equipment do they need? What space do they need? And trying to make sure all that's ready when we need it.
What are some of the ways that maybe you're looking to approach the role as you step in?
Yeah, so as I have come into this role, with there being a really light touch from physicians in the past, it's really interesting the communication pathways. The whole organization is built around the way therapists think through things, which I think is excellent overall. But it is in a lot of ways different from the way that physicians and nurse practitioners are taught to assess a patient or go about diagnosing and treating something. So trying to find that appropriate place within the organization, build on what I think is already really great there, become part of some of those communication pathways, and try to continue to just build on what's already there.
From a challenge standpoint, what would be some of the challenges that maybe you're going to be trying to navigate through?
Yeah, On With Life is first of all, just building what wasn't there before. This is a brand new position, so trying to learn what the organization wants out of this role, what the organization needs out of this role. That's kind of one of the first things I've been trying to really pinpoint, and then from there build into what they want. On With Life is also growing. We have a Polk City long-term care unit that we're hoping to actually expand by about 24 beds in the next few years, and adding in long-term ventilator patients up there, which would be a big change for what we do. We have an outpatient clinic that we are expanding as well, trying to figure out we have limited resources for what we can serve, so who's the best people to serve in that role. Those are my biggest.
Will part of your role being to interact with other providers in some fashion, or is it mostly internally focused?
Yeah, that's my favorite part of the role, if I'm being honest with you. We have a few great nurse practitioners, great medical directors as well, interacting with them, seeing how I can really take what they've already brought to the organization and add to it, make sure they have the resources they need to be successful, the training that is needed. We also have quite a few specialists, PMR or physiatry physicians, podiatrists, wound care nurse practitioners. So really there's a large breadth of different services we provide, making sure everyone feels that they have what they need to be successful.
Everybody steps in the role and they have some surprises. What's maybe a surprise you've been navigating so far? It could be good or bad, I suppose. So,
yeah, I came from a rather large multi-state organization in Alaska before moving here. Lots of resources that were kind of out of state to access, but in general, a very well solidified corporate structure. Coming to a much smaller organization, homegrown Iowan, it feels a little bit more at home, I guess, that way. But it also means that some of those larger supports haven't been built yet. And so it's all, little nuanced things, like how does our billing department work? What does this policy look like? Really things that that are small day-to-day operational things, but being part of kind of building that to what the organization needs has been a surprise.
How do you think your position will help position the organization long-term as you're thinking a little bit into the future? Maybe give it a unique selling proposition. I say selling, but unique proposition in the market.
Yeah, we are a nonprofit. So On With Life has been successful, in my opinion, because they've found a need in the community and they've found a way to meet that need. And right now, we're seeing, just in one example, a need for individuals, persons served that have an accident, whether that's a stroke or a traumatic brain injury. They get through their inpatient stay, maybe they go to a rehab facility, maybe they come to us, maybe they don't, and then they discharge into the community, and all of a sudden they go from 24/7 help to couple times a week help, maybe. And being able to help build out our outpatient services to where not to take over where someone else is doing, but really fill the hole of what Iowans need. I'm hopeful that I can help identify specifically what that need is and be able to fill it with the right providers.
Well, so you mentioned you're coming back from Alaska. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing in Alaska and why come on back here.
Yeah, I moved up to Alaska in 2018 following a woman who got married there. We now have,
you were not married before?
No,
okay.
no.
So it stood the test of Alaska. That's good.
Yes, for sure. And now my wife Candace and I are bringing back our 3 children, so we're happy to be back in Iowa with that. In Alaska, primarily I was a hospitalist working on inpatient medicine, but a few years ago I made the transition to inpatient rehab facility, chief medical director up there in a really cool hospital called St. Elias, where inpatient rehab, for those of you who aren't aware, if you have a stroke or an accident of some sort that gets you into the hospital, inpatient rehab is where you go after the hospital to get about 3 hours of therapy a day, as well as seeing physicians a few times a day. And when I moved up to Alaska, there was really less than 20 inpatient rehab beds in the entire state. And
I've heard it's a big state. So.
It is quite a large state, and that wasn't enough. So we were able to take this St. Elias facility and build over 40 inpatient rehab beds in that facility alone. And those beds are almost completely filled by the time I was leaving. So really finding the need that the state had for those services and being part of that leadership. Mostly my role was just to coordinate the experts in the field. We had great PMR physicians, we had good hospitalists, great leadership that really helped facilitate that. And then about a year ago, my wife's job changed, and we made the decision to move back. And so it was that helping build that rehab facility up there that as I was moving back here, I was able to find On With Life and see that they needed a similar role here and take that on. And so far, it's been very fulfilling for me.
So now that you're back, outside of work, are there things that you're involved in the community? I know you said 3 kids, so I'm sure that's probably demanding a little bit of your time. But
yeah, right now I'm focused primarily on just surviving with my 3 children.
I've got 2, so I know the feeling.
My parents I grew up in Johnston, so getting time for my kids to spend with their grandparents, and my sister lives here as well, so spending time with the cousins as we kind of refigure out what it is to be an Iowan.
So I asked you this a little bit earlier, but what are maybe the biggest adjustment from Alaska to Iowa? You're the second person in a row that we've had here that's gone and from someplace colder to someplace warmer. So must have a trend here. Iowa's collecting the northern folks, but what's been the biggest adjustment?
Yeah, so far I've only been here for really less than 3 months, so just the winter. This weekend, as we were talking about earlier, is the start of the Iditarod. So today's day 2 of the Iditarod up in Alaska. So typically this weekend I would have been downtown at ice sculpture competitions, watching the ceremonial start of the Iditarod with the dogs running through parks in downtown Anchorage, bundled up in feet of snow. And this weekend instead I was outside with my kids playing on the jungle gym. So it's a different attire for sure. The other adjustment was probably, more pork, less salmon coming back here. So,
well, we got to get more folks coming from the northern states just to talk about how great our weather is, because this is the second time in a row we're having that opportunity. What would you like people to know about how you try to operate from both work and life?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I think in general, people work best when you give them goals, give them guidelines. What's the word I'm looking for? Give them kind of what your expectations are out of them, and then let them, do what they want to do. So especially working with physicians, most physicians are, very independent-minded individuals. If you give them clear expectations, clearly what you want out of them, the results are usually pretty good. Kind of light touches here and there. I'm a pretty terrible micromanager, if I'm being honest with you. So setting up clear expectations from the beginning, and then following up, making sure that everyone's well-resourced, what they need to succeed, I think is also really important. And then connecting on kind of a personal levels can be very important as well.
All right, well, we'll give you an opportunity to connect on the personal level because we're going to do the rapid fire stuff here. So
that was a great transition.
Everyone's favorite part.
I mean, you nailed that. Yeah.
Well, you teed it up. So what's maybe one thing we'd find you doing in your free time?
Yeah, up in Alaska, I really enjoyed getting out of the city, getting into some kind of rural river areas. I had my boss's cabin, loved going to rural western Alaska to go do that. Here locally, growing up in Iowa, I'd go to Lake of the Ozarks every summer, so that's kind of still a place I take my girls and meet my family down Lake of the Ozarks. And then one thing I was excited about moving back for is Hawkeye football. So I'm excited to be able to.
I think this interview's over. I'm a Cyclone. So
excited to get there. I really wanted to get to a West Coast Iowa game while I was. It's pretty easy to get to West Coast places from Anchorage.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to get out to Washington for a football game this year.
Well, good luck
so
this
we'll
season.
See.
We'll just leave it.
Hey,
there.
Same.
We're going to need it, I think, a little bit. So.
I thought you guys were lucky to have Campbell, and sad to see him go to Penn State. But yeah,
probably not that sad. So okay, next one. Business pet peeve of yours.
Ooh. Business pet peeve. Yeah, that's an interesting question. They don't teach you about business in medical school. So everything I've learned about business has been not from a formal business education standpoint. It's been from, I'm trained to be a physician, to see people at the bedside, and I kind of come in the back way from how businesses work. And a lot of times business, watches the dollar before mission, if that makes sense. And I've been seeing great leaders and not so great leaders as I've come up there. I don't know if I have a specific pet peeve, but that would probably be if you're not following mission, why you're here, it's easy to get lost in all the minutia of the business. So that'd probably be it.
If you're playing music, what's a song or artist that you'd have on?
Florence and the Machine is probably my go-to singer right now. Has been probably for half a decade at least. So.
All right. Favorite TV or movie show? Movie or TV show?
Probably the Foundation series right now on Apple is my favorite one that I'm making way through. I know I'm a little bit behind. It's been out for a while, but
are you going to be watching the reboot of Scrubs then? Or was that in your vernacular or not
I have
yours?
seen most Scrub episodes. I can't say I know anything about the reboot. So that's probably the most accurate from as what internal medicine training
Scrubs is.
Doctor,
okay.
yeah. I mean,
all right.
It's comedy, but Dr. Cox is a little bit of a hero.
I'm joking because I've just started watching it. I never watched it when it first came out, so I'm like way behind. And so my buddy's a good friend, big fan. So he's got me with the DVDs because that's got the music in it, which apparently is a lot more important. So there you go.
You tell me, yeah.
Favorite maybe bite of food you're looking forward to now that you're back here?
Well, we were just having a discussion about Fong's Pizza before coming in. I didn't realize there was a new location, so I thought they were just gone forever. So I'm kind of excited to.
Well, we've accomplished one thing today. Is
try
that you
that
now
again.
Know that you can get the.
Yeah, one of the first places coming back was Tasty Taco, though. Definitely none of those in Alaska. So
Not a lot of
happy to
tacos in Alaska.
have a not tasty tacos for sure. So
Now, salmon though apparently was a big thing for you in Alaska. Salmon snob is I think what you said, right?
yeah, it's
There's multiple types of salmon.
yeah. Growing up in Iowa, it's just salmon. You know, it's that pink fish that you sometimes eat. Up in Alaska, salmon's kind of way of life. There's 4 different species within the state. You don't even talk about Atlantic salmon to Alaskans. And, you know, there, as a resident, you can catch 50 to 100 salmon a year that you can just go to the river, catch with a net, and take home. So definitely going to be missing easy access to that salmon.
All right, last question. Anything else that you want to share with the audience before we leave?
I don't have anything else at the moment, though. Sorry.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for joining us, and thank you for joining us for On the Move. I'm so grateful to have gotten to know you today, and know our audience did as well. So we know one of the secrets to this community's success is the way we connect on a personal level with each other. So do me a favor, as Eric is on the move and working with On With Life to help improve the health of our community, reach out to him, give him a little extra hand, and see if there's a way that you could help him and On With Life with their mission as well. Thanks again for watching. Again, I'm Chris Conetzkey, president of the Business Record, and I'll see you next time for On the Move.